Hi, I'm Luke Norman, Executive Chairman at US Gold Corp, and nice to be on.
Good to see you, Luke. And good year, happy New Year. I got to say, did you have some time off over Christmas?
I did, and it's bull market though. You know, the phone was ringing in between Christmas and New Year's. It's been busy days.
That's what we want. Like I saw you did that raise obviously before Christmas. I mean, how much? What was the number again?
$31,234,000.
Precisely. And how was that? I mean, what type of money was it? Easy to come by?
Well, look, money's never easy to come by, but in a bull market, obviously, there's money moving around. How this was important to us as a company is it was that validation raise. And I think I've spoken to you about this before, Matt, but you know, we've always had a wonderful retail backdrop. Everyone's been very supportive of us. That's why the stock's managed to do so well. But we hadn't needed to raise capital in the 12-month period that has been really the crux, excuse the pun, of this bull cycle. So bringing in the likes of the big funds that we brought in, McKinsey, Libra out of New York, it just validates again just the work and effort that's gone in through the engineering side of things and culminating into, you know, kind of a tick of approval.
Well, yeah, I think that validation and endorsement is what you need from names like that for sure. Just for the people new to the story, let's remind us what you managed to. I want to look forward and talk about the kind of growth story this year, but let's look back on some of the other kind of key moments for last year, which are going to set you up for success this year.
Yeah, of course. Well, look, we'll even touch into 2024. Right before Christmas of 2024, we received our final non-conditional permit to mine. That led to the Eric Sprott capital raise we did just before Christmas in 24. So we hit the runway in 25 with a permit in hand. You're one of the only junior mining companies with a fully permitted, shovel-ready project in North America, right? So, I mean, that set the stage quite nicely. So we saw a huge capital appreciation in the stock through 2025. We've been doing our more advanced engineering, definitive feasibility study style engineering. We'd actually, just to give ourselves a little slap on the hand, we'd forecast to have that out before Christmas, and we have not yet come with it. It'll be probably later this month or early into February, but, it's been a banner year. All that final engineering, we're ready to go.
Well, I think obviously no harm done there. I think, you're going into a kind of, was it 4,600 gold? Is that what we're looking at today? Right.
It doesn't even sound right when you say it. So yeah.
No, it doesn't, but it feels good. I think that obviously kind of changes the dynamic and the economics from the PFS from last year, right? So that's what people are looking to. In terms of the conversations with the investors, what's their expectation of you? Clearly, North American gold producer sounds good as well, but they'll want to understand the timings on that and I guess the economics too, won't they?
Yeah, well, look, so 2026 is a whole new kind of turning point for us. Definitive feasibility is going to set the pathway immediately to project finance. Now, how quickly we can pull off this project finance, ultimately, it's an 18-month runway into development, through development into production. So very short timelines. There's going to be several re-rates along the way for us. I'm pretty confident in that. So look, it's going to be a busy couple of months here in the first quarter of 2026. But it's going to attract a lot of attention around the company too, so that's always good.
Right, and what's the big idea here when this does come out? You'll be looking at some sort of EPCM appointments and a lot of engineering expected as well off the back of that, because you're gonna need to kind of get into the weeds there somewhat. Can you just again remind people about the kind of simplicity of the build here? There's not a lot of moving parts really.
Well, look, again, the process is what the process is. We've got so many different interested parties in wanting to finance the project. There's obviously interest from an M&A perspective, but then we've got all the off-takers who these concentrates are in. Just as you know, the global demand for concentrates, especially copper and gold-rich concentrate, is insatiable. That demand is literally insatiable. So all the off-takers have an active interest in wanting to be a part of it. Look, we have all that early production. The first year of production, is forecast at 130,000 ounces of gold, 24 million pounds of copper. That you can forward sell 50,000 ounces at $43 or $4,400. There is just a myriad of different ways to finance this project, but it lends itself very nicely to debt. And we want all the debt we can take to build this project. You're familiar, Matt, and I'm sure some of the listeners now are too, with our very tight share structure. Even after that 31 and change million US financing we did just before Christmas, we still only have 16.5 million shares outstanding. So we don't want to, we don't want to blow that up. We want to take it all in debt. So I guess where I'm going with this is a lot of different financing possibilities, probabilities. We're just going to take the one that's smartest for the companies and the investors.
Well, yeah, no. I think the stock has reacted to that in the sense that you're up 4 times on the year, which is obviously fantastic. I'm just wondering in terms of the control components that you have. Obviously, George B. We're talking about. He's most beavering away in the background. What is he going to be delivering this year in terms of the engineering and the kind of build studies?
All right, so I apologize for that. So off the back of the definitive feasibility, of course, then it's just going into full, complete contractual agreements. Again, our location being just 20 miles outside of a major employment hub, Cheyenne, Wyoming, is, it's remarkable. It's not like building a mine up in Alaska or in South America. Your employment hub is right there. You're going in for contracts from everything from electrical engineering, plumbing, etc. You're not reliant on flying people in and out, and all the different kind of issues you run into trying to get equipment and people into a remote area. This is all right on our back door. So we'll have contracts for everything right down to the last nut and bolt.
Okay, so we're talking about, just for folks at home, so we're talking about a crush, grind, flotation, dry stack. It couldn't be simpler, and with permits in hand. I'm just for folks maybe who think, well, crikey, maybe we missed the boat with you. What would you say? Absolutely not.
I think when I look at us with 1.7 million ounce reserve in hand, I left one other important thing out that we're going to get into this year as well, which is we're going to start drilling below the reserve now. Look, we see another million ounces potential below the reserve. 1.7 million ounces of reserve. You bring another million ounces into this project, it'd be another $1 billion in net present value. So, we're going to get into that, but it's going to be the world's open for us right now, and 1.7 million ounces in that reserve alone, and we've got a $330 million market cap. We've got a lot of value that's not been tapped yet.
Right, and just to say, I should have asked, with regards to the kind of cash at hand at the moment, you clearly kind of getting this thing built out. There's going to be a little bit more exploration. If so, what type of exploration or what type of exploration?
Yeah, it's not even really exploration. 80% of the holes drilled into CK have bottomed in mineralization. We've drilled through the resort. We actually have, if you go to our website, people, and take a look at our presentation, you can actually see the halo of the ongoing mineralization beyond our reserve pit anyway. What we want to do is shore that up because it's a huge value add to the company. Now, it wasn't when we were doing our initial phase of engineering and permitting. Why? Because we had to make sure it was economically viable, tick that box, but then could you permit it? So that was 2020 through 2024 for us. Then in 2025, it was definitive feasibility work, get it up, see what the actual final costing is going to be. Now we can deploy, $10, $12 million into additional drilling that could bring anywhere up to $1 billion worth of value to the company. I mean, it's quite extraordinary.
Okay, well, look, I know you're about to jump on a plane, so appreciate you making the time for us today. We would love to kind of catch up with you now you've kind of got this money in place, and obviously, maybe even catch up with George as well, just sort of see how things are going in terms of moving the study forward. Great year last year. Keep doing it.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Matt.